95, the big station. New year, new show on Q. Coming Tuesday, 9th January. Strictly art, culture, and literary business unearthed. ACLBU. Only on Q95, the big station. Join songwriter, author, and playwright Ian Jackson on Q. Unearth every aspect of our culture, our visual and performing arts, with contemporary and historical perspectives, and local, regional, and global roots connections. Right here on Q95, the big station. Every Tuesday from 9th January, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Let us all together unearth our music, our culture, our literature, our arts and literary works with exhilarating commentary, live studio guest performances, in-depth reviews, and exciting interviews. Coming Tuesday, 9th January on the big station. You know it's true. You heard it on Q.
Yeah, Dominica, good evening, good evening. And of course, welcome to the program, a new program on of course, Q95 called On Earth. And basically, this program, I'm so happy to be here this evening because we are starting this program with a bang, really. And On Earth features our arts, or culture, literature, and our business. And of course, we are unearthing the talents. And you heard the theme song playing, The Hammer. And this song, Hammer, do you know that the hammer, the pan, is the only instrument created basically in the Caribbean? And so we think that we are unearthing things, not just down here in Dominica, but also in diaspora. And as we'll be featuring many of our artists, in Dominica, abroad, and even Caribbean artists and international artists, and not just painters or writers, but we're also into visual arts also. We're also into cuisine. If persons are into culinary arts, we just all embracing as far as the arts is concerned. So we're really happy to have you here on this first program. If you hear the first program, of course, tell your friends, tell persons there's something different from the political discourse that we have nowadays on all the radio stations. And it's just a breath of fresh air. And I trust you'll join me every Tuesday at this time, 6 o'clock, 6 to 8, where we look at the arts in its entirety. Tonight, we have a big feature. We are featuring the drums. The drums came from Africa, and everything started in Africa, basically. Life started in Africa. Adam and Eve, my great-great-great-grandparents, was from Africa. So everybody's from Africa. It all started there. And of course, the drums was used as a form of communication. And tonight, we basically will be featuring Dominica's best, in my opinion, and I think almost everybody's opinion, drummer, and that is the man, Style LaRock. Alex LaRock. Everybody know him as the Studium Style LaRock, and he'll be there tonight. He's taking a busy time off his schedule. He'll just be there with us for around 20 minutes because right now he's preparing to go at Katai to perform, and really happy to have him here. I saw him last year coming down in Dominica. I think he resides right now in Martinique. We'll tell us more about that a little later. And of course, he has been in Dominica recently more often than before, and I had a chance to speak to him. And even one time came to the Calypso House and spoke to some of my guys here when I was doing a summer workshop. And we're really happy to have him. And following Style LaRock, we're going to be speaking to Vunandra Christian right here. Vunandra Christian is making history in Dominica as the first female drummer to drum for the great Swinging Stars. I mean, Swinging Stars is the grounds that everybody come up from in terms of learning to play the instrument. Almost every top musician in Dominica has passed through the Swinging Stars. And so Swinging Stars is the birthing place for music in Dominica. It has become an institution, not just a band. So Swinging Stars has been an institution, and at some time, Style LaRock, and right now we have Vunandra, Freddie Nicholas, everybody passed through the Swinging Stars at some time. The guys for WCK, I can remember Cornell and his brother playing for WCK and so on. So, almost everybody has passed there. So, of course, we have the man Style LaRock as the top drummer in Dominica, and of course, Vunandra Christian, the top female drummer, and an excellent drummer also. She one time used to be with T-Orchestra, isn't that so? Right. And so she'll be here tonight speaking to us about drumming, and I'll point some things that we want to talk about because, today is a world where we have the drum machine and everything existing. And we want to look at that in conjunction together with actual drummers and so forth. And what are the benefits and what are the negatives or the pros and cons of having a live drummer and the drummer in Dominica. So, Sty, I want to say welcome to the program. and welcome to On Earth, where we look at the arts and culture.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice being here with you, Ian. Because the last time we did this together was back in I think it was like 2019.
Yeah,
when you were at
Calypso House.
and also Kyrie FM.
It was Vibes Radio.
Yeah, right. Vibes Radio, so to speak, which was nice. So it's nice to be back here with you again once again.
Yes, and you're getting prepared for a big show.
Yeah, tonight.
We're going to move very quickly with your side because we know we have to move and come back again to go to your show. What do you want to know first? In the absence of A.C.L.B.U, from the time of A.C.L.B.U, what has been happening for you?
Well, from since A.C.L.B.U, I've been on a
roller coaster.
I've been
everywhere.
I've been on a roller coaster. From A.C.L.B.U, it's like after the broke up of A.C.L.B.U, I stayed on in New York, and I joined with a international German superstar rock star called Nina Hagen.
Right.
And that took me to like it was like a 5-year span with her of just touring and recording. I mean, numerous world tours all around the world. And then just more things started happening. I spent like something like 12 years in Asia. And it's just been a musical roller coaster from since A.C.L.B.U.
Yes.
And it hasn't stopped yet.
Yeah, it still continues. And I just caught a little bit of your trying to get your song together, and so this evening, and I happened to come around here with me, and I'm very pleased about that. Drumming. There has been a lot of connotations about drumming today, and you know the advent in your time when you grew up as a young man. There wasn't the introduction of the drum machine to that level what we have it. Maybe it's used in the studios, but there is a prominent part of music right now in the world. How do you actually see drumming, and what has been your experience with as a drummer in the world of music? Because you have rubbed shoulders with some big artists, and you could probably mention a few of the persons you have played and rubbed shoulders with or shared the stage with. And how do they view the live drummer as opposed to what they do nowadays, the sequencing of the drums and so on?
Well, I think the sequencer is just like it's a non-human machine that just keeps the beat.
Right.
Also, like sometimes I would use it. Okay. Especially like in a small band situation, I would use it to well, actually not the drum machine, but like all the
percussions and so on.
Yeah, percussions, horns, and keyboards and stuff like that. I would use that too. But honestly, as a drummer, nothing beats the live drummer. Nothing beats the live drummer.
And amen. I see him into that.
Nothing beats the live drummer.
You might see it from the old school.
The live drummer have taste, you have feel.
Right.
You know, you have style. But the drum machine is just boom, 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 boom. You know? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you could go ahead.
Which is okay too. But still, nothing beats the live drummer. Nothing.
Yeah, for those younger people that might not know about A.C.L.B.U, I'm just going to read something about him, which I did some time ago in one of the newspapers. A.C.L.B.U started playing the drums at the tender age of 12, and 4 to 5 later, he was doing it professionally as he began to tour and record extensively in England, in the English and French Caribbean. Stye played with renowned A.C.L.B.U, which I mentioned already, as a percussionist and drummer for a number of years, and moved to Paris with the band. In addition to regular regional engagements, he toured Africa, Europe, and Canada. So we can say we're talking to an international Dominican who has been in the business for many, many years. When Exile splintered, as he mentioned, he kept touring with Roots of Exile. I remember that very clearly as a young man myself. And the reggae sensation, Mujanaya. I'm not sure if Dominicans, many young people know about Mujanaya, but Mujanaya was a big reggae group. One time I was talking to one of the guys there, and they told me how that when they played for the opening, I think it was Third World, they didn't want that to happen too often because you all sort of stole the show. Was it Third World? Still Pause, yes. Yeah. And you know, they felt as if, wow, these guys were stealing our thunder. Yeah. You know, so so I saw Mujanaya, they came to Dominica a couple of times. I know I saw them play at Marigot at one time, and the guys were really, really, really sensational, you know, at the time. So yes, we're saying that how at one time, and then he decided to reside in New York, the mecca of music, as he refers to it, and became a studio and session musician. One of Stye's advantages is that he has mastered almost every genre, and so he is in high demand from reggae, calypso, cadas, blues, soul, etc., and even rock music, as he mentioned about this German sensation. His skills in the latter, by way of auditioning among scores of other drummers, landed him an exclusive contract to play for German rock diva Nina Hagen, as you were mentioning, where he has given one of the best opportunities and exposures in his industrial career. He went on to accompany people like Chuck Berry, Asai,
Yeah.
right? Living Color,
Living Color.
and All I See Is Red.
Yeah.
Battle Santiago,
Yeah.
Jamaica, Sugar Minot. Well, people of the older age know about Sugar Minot. Reggae Cowboys, of course, Reggae Cowboys with what's the name again? Bird and also Sinky Rabes, right? And of course Sparrow, you know, in the Caribbean genre and so on. And that's just a tip of his musical iceberg. Sty, tell us what it is in terms of what keeps you going. There's a drummer. I realize sometimes if you're drumming now, you got to be fit. The drummer has to be fittest man in the band.
Yeah, you got to be fit. Well, what keeps me going is my determination to stay fit, because I walk every morning for like 45 minutes to an hour. I walk every morning, and I eat very healthy.
Right.
I drink a lot of water, and I laugh a lot, man.
What part does the laughing play in that whole thing? You don't know. Like, it just keeps you happy.
Yeah, it keeps me happy.
It
takes away the stress, you know, of some of the everyday life, you know, and stuff like that. And it's like I have an energy for drums. It's like and it's like a spark that I have I've had since I was like I'm 9 years old, and that spark haven't left me yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
It just motivates me, and I motivate myself to just always be playing. As a matter of fact, if one day pass and I don't play my drums, I'm sad.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Commitment.
That's how I am.
Yeah, it's a job.
Yeah,
and
I'm totally committed to that.
Yeah. And I mean, you have been doing this thing for 5 decades.
Yeah.
And you don't look it. So what you're saying, there's a formula. Yeah, there's a formula to that. And I often say that even like when you look at people like Mr. Norman Later or Swinging Stars and Bing and those guys, they've been playing music for so long, but they look so young, because something about music tends to keep people young. When you're enjoying it and doing it keeps you really young, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, of course, you are tuned to On Earth. That's a new program from our studios right here at Q95, and this program is going to be held every Tuesday. We're talking to Style and Rock, and this program is going to be held in 4 parts. It doesn't have to be equal 4 parts, right? And we're going to do the commentary performance. A little later on, we're going to have a performance right here, live in the studios. Never been done many times on radio, and we're changing the whole vibes, right? Interviews and features, which we're now doing with, of course, Style Rock, and later on we'll be talking to Vidanja Christian. And of course, we're going to have Miss Dr. Joan Polidor coming here later, and she's going to talk to us about a book called Influential Woman. We want to look at this book. It's going to come a little later down in the program, and so on, right? Okay, Sty, tell us right now, what are you presently doing in terms of your engagement? Are you now doing sessions, or do you have something online that comes in?
Well, I'm doing sessions, and I also I've been touring Canada and America the last few years. Since I left Hong Kong in 2019, I've been working with Gize, Rocket and Gize, and also Lazo, and also Battle of Santiago, and different sessions in the Matnik area. But whatsoever comes,
I saw Rocket here recently.
I apply myself to it.
I saw Rocket here recently.
And tonight, I'm doing my show at Katai.
Right.
I recruited like 3 of the best players in Dominica.
Yes. Yeah, certainly. They're among the best. They're among the best. Yes, you have to agree to that. Yes.
Fantastic.
Guys like Leon Seja and so on.
Yeah.
Juicy and so on. Yeah.
And Kuba.
Yeah.
It's like a quartet, like myself and 3 of them, and we're gonna put on a great show tonight at Katai. So if you guys are listening, come on down. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be an adventure of jazz, Latin jazz, big in jazz, fusion jazz. It's like jazz rock fusion, etc., etc.
Yes.
Very tasty.
Yeah. The intention after all this, and we're talking off mic about possibly having some sessions whereby you have clinics for young people, and we have been having a few of that happening, and with the danger, I think that's happening, that we are fast in the Caribbean losing our horn players and losing our drummers, because technology has basically keyboard does everything. So we are losing our horn players, and because of the machine of drums, we are losing really good drummers. What would you say you have? what part would you have to say in terms of making a difference, a change? What do you have to say to young drummers coming up?
What I always say to young drummers, first you playing different styles of music instead of like putting yourself in the bracket of booyah, booyah, booyah. Try to learn different styles of music, you know, because that's gonna take you on a different level as a drummer and also as a musician. So instead of pigeonholing yourself in one style of music, make yourself versatile and check out different styles of music.
Because really the jam should not stop style. If, for instance, something happens to the drum machine, I've seen bands already playing. That's happened to me already. Playing in bands that when the drum machine goes off, everybody turns around, and nothing can happen because they depend solely their lives on that drum machine, and it can be something. So it's a sort of kind of good advice. Well, guys, of course, Sty has to run, and I'm happy that he was here to join us. Of course, he's going to get himself together for that jam tonight at Kata, and I hope, of course, you visit. And it's actually going to be a clinic in itself. So young drummers, and you want to see, and you hear about style up, or you want to, better and look at and be intrigued by what's happening in terms of drumming. I think that's the place to be tonight. So you should check it out around 8:30. Come down at Kata and listen. Style, it was really nice having you here.
My pleasure.
And so on, and we wish you the best. And I'm sure we'll have you along sometime. I know you was with Awadik some time ago, but of course we'll get more in depth into what you're doing. So thank you for having us. And of course we'll just get back to our little theme song when you come back. Of course, you can give your comments on the program. We'll be talking to Venandro in a short while, and of course we'll be speaking about drums also, because tonight we are featuring the drums from Africa.
Come on.
Yeah.
See you guys tonight at Katai. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Showtime 8:30. Peace.
Yeah, man. Okay, I was doing some research about the drummer and the drum machine. And of course, one of the things guys will tell you in a band that, when you bring the drum machine, you don't have to pay the drum machine. So it's an economical thing that so you get rid of the drummer. And in those times when you play at hotel gigs and so on, and if you have three guys playing and to bring in a fourth man as a drummer, you find you have to share the money. So obviously, there's some economical factors as far as that is concerned. So the drum machine is one of the things that have made it more economically viable for bands and small groups to play. Okay. Some guys will say, oh, it is more portable, easy to carry around. You just put that in your bag and nobody knows you have a drum machine there, and you have a drums available. With drums, you have to get all kind of things, cymbals, all kind of big stuff, bulky stuff to carry. Your foot drum, your snares, and and so on. And so that's a problem. The guy told me that machine never complains. They don't want no drink. They don't want no spliff. They don't want no spliff. They don't want to take a break. They just go on and on and on and on. There's no stopping. Even though the music is not played and the drums keep going and you just have the people on their toes. So that's an advantage, And on the other hand, you can't ask a drum machine, where are you in the song? Drummers have been known in the past not to turn up. I don't know who is that. There's something about drummers and time, keeping time. When I was growing up as a young man into bands, when everybody's just saying, where's the drummer? Everybody's turning to watch, where is the drummer? And everybody experiences the same thing about drummers. I don't know what about drummers and timing. And drummers are supposed to be keeping time because they're the ones keeping time for the music. And they're not there keeping the time for the jam. So that's another problem. So a guy sat down once and said, well, what I can do to get rid of those drummers, no boy. And they came up with a drum machine. DJ, yes, they came up with a drum machine. But at the same time, the good drummers like Styrock, who was just the first, and of course, Bonanza, who's going to speak to, they will tell you about there's flexibility in drummers. Flexibility, you're singing a song and a guy says something and you want to accentuate it. You can't ask the drum machine to do that. The drum machine is programmed, to do one thing, basically, and to keep the rhythm and so on. And so the accentuation and the feel and the authenticity is lost in drum machines. With drummers, they feel the music, as I say, they roll with certain things, they accent certain things, they pull out and come back in. If you hear the reggae drummers of Trinidad, of Jamaica doing those things, when they say pull up, drum machine can't pull up. A drum machine can't pull up, you just stop the drum machine and start again. But the drummers can, so they can actually follow the vocalist better. It's more authentic. Get real-time feedback on arrangement. They rely on the use of experience and training. Real drummers can record live with other musicians for a more organic vibe. The drummers can suggest what equipment they use to get certain songs in terms of cymbals and so forth. They can get certain feels on the drum, on the snare and so forth, and how they hit it and how they knock it and so on, which drum machine, cannot really do. And so that's very, very important. And so we have history in the making right here on Earth, where we look at the arts, culture, and literature. And we have one of Dominican's, I must say, leading drummers, and I've heard of Bonanza a number of times already. And she's also a steel pan player, by the way. And she has the accolade of being the first female drummer of Swinging Stars. Now, that is big business. That is a big thing. For me, that's a big thing. To have a woman, who would you believe, according to Tasha B's Woman Time, who would you believe that you would have a drummer who is a woman representing one of Dominica's biggest musical organization, Swinging Stars? So, Bonanza, give us a little background about you and music. We know you're from the Christian family, but trace us to that whole development of your musical career.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me, Ian. It's an honor, a pleasure to be here. I'm very happy to be here. My musical journey is an interesting one, simple one. I know there are other musicians who've had a similar story.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother played music. He was classically trained.
Mm-hmm.
My parents always said they didn't have enough money to train both of us. So only one person
at the time.
Yes, only one person was going to get those classes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually with my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So while he's practicing, I'm just a little sister around. I have nothing to do. I wanted to do something too. So I would just start hitting things to play along with him.
Mm-hmm.
And the love for music, the love for drums just came about. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And also my father had been the technician at Arawak House of Culture.
Right.
So I was just always behind the scenes of a lot
Bruno
of shows.
Christian.
Yes.
You have the name, and your brother's name is what?
Trevor.
Trevor, yes, Trevor, yes.
So I was just always behind the scenes, and it kind of just became part of you. It was in your blood. You would just be around the music.
And of course, because of percussions and hitting things, they always tell me like children like to hit things.
Yes.
It was obvious that you'd sort of gravitate towards even the pan, because the pan is a percussive instrument.
That's true. Seems I really like to hit things.
Yeah. yes. So what it bad. But at first, I knew you basically as somebody who played pan. you know. And when you decide to take drums very seriously, when you thought you probably had a talent in that
I
area?
started on drums, I've been playing drums since
Okay.
I was 8 when that first
But in the
started.
public, we really more saw you with the pan. At
Um,
least I saw you at first really with the pan somehow.
That's interesting. Some
Yeah.
people know me as
The
the
drummer
pan
first.
player, some people know me as the
The
drummer,
drummer.
but the drums would have been first for sure. I
Okay.
played drums from at least, I started at 8,
Mhm.
but from 15, that's when I was more public. I did a few public performances.
Okay.
We played for small shows. Like I remember Flo, Lime at the time would have had Christmas dinners. We played for
Mhm.
events like that. Small events,
Mhm.
church events. I started playing at church
Mhm.
from 15. And then I would have joined T Orchestra, which would have been my first public
The
stage.
first band also.
Yes.
That
Probably when I was, just around 19, 18 in that age
Mhm,
group
mhm,
and
mhm.
above. So it would have been drums first.
Yeah, yeah.
Stefan was a bit more recent for me,
Listen more fun.
actually.
Okay, okay. But a lady on drums. Did you ever give that much thought? What people were telling you at the time?
Oh Lord, it's a lot of pressure.
A lot of
It's
stuff.
been a lot of pressure. And people have told me, and I realized that I'm a very shy person. So people
Okay.
have always said, "Oh, but she looks like she enjoys playing steel pan so much, and when she's drumming, she looks serious." To be honest, I am a bit nervous when I'm drumming because there's always been a comment like, you're playing and I'm just enjoying the music, and
Yeah.
people are like, "Where's a woman on the drum?" And I'm like, "Wait, what happened?"
Yeah,
Now, when you
yeah.
see somebody whispering, you think it's something wrong going on.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
what? And you don't realize why people are watching you, but it's they're
They're just intrigued. They're just amazed,
Right.
seeing a woman on the drums. It's like when the guy wrote the song, a woman on the bass, it's something different. It's like seeing a woman on the bass, don't normally see a woman on the bass guitar. Normally, at least in this Caribbean setting, basically. I mean, that happens all over the world. But I mean, for Caribbean person, far as Dominican, you don't see that happening. Timing is a very important thing in drumming. You say you naturally had timing, had groove, because a lot of women and guys too, sometimes they even come to do calypso and so forth. And timing has always been a problem because you are provided time for the entire band, as a drummer. How did you deal with that? Did you have problems at first with keeping the time when you maybe roll and come back?
Everybody has to learn. You always
Yeah.
have to learn. For when you learn, you give it time. You have
Yeah.
patience with yourself.
All right.
But I know some people really struggle with timing.
Yes.
So I cannot relate as much.
Did you have to use a metronome or you just naturally?
You always have to train with a metronome. You always should. No matter what level you are, it's good to practice with a metronome. But some people do struggle with it, and some people, I guess, it comes easier.
Yeah.
But
well, as you said, that's something for you being part of the Christian family, and then you had a brother. You had your father was a technician, in that respect, so you knew about sound and engineering for the ARAC and so on. And so basically, it was almost like part of yours. James Dominic, your uncle,
my uncle,
my partner, I went to school together with him. James Dominic, hi, hello to James. I'm sure probably he's listening to the program. He's also a drummer. Yeah, so so you got that from the from the family, basically. Yeah, family. So tell us your experience with T Orchestra. Why T Orchestra? Did they check you out, or did you made moves to say, "Oh, hey, I wanted to do drums. I can do drums for you." Was it drummer before, or was it originally you for the T Orchestra?
There was a drummer before. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
But there was somebody before. I was actually away when T Orchestra would have first started.
Okay.
So when I came back, it was probably just after I finished school. They were having auditions for a drummer, and I was like, okay, let me try. I don't think they know I was auditioning them as well because I'd never heard of them either. So it was an audition, and I guess I managed to secure the spot as the drummer. So that was pretty much it.
Do you have any mentors that you have been looking at? I mean, you watch a lot of television to watch those drummers and, watch YouTube and see all those guys do the stuff and so on.
Well, yes. I mean, a lot of my learning would have been from YouTube, from online, because I was kind of self-taught. Locally, I always look up to Lloyd Emmanuel. I always call his name.
Oh, okay, yeah, Lloyd. Yeah. Lloyd trained a lot of guys too, a lot of persons. Did you go to one of the schools?
I never went to school. Okay. That's the thing. I was self-taught.
So were you actually saw Lloyd Emmanuel play?
From Arawak, where my father was working,
yeah,
we would have a lot of those shows. So I would see. So I grew up watching Mikhail, watching what's the song? Nelly Star. I
Okay,
remember
Nelly
a
Star, so, okay,
performance she
yeah.
did on stage on Bayfront,
On
and
a
Lloyd
different,
was
okay.
playing. And I can always picture that with the drums, and it was just an
Mhm.
amazing show. And
Fantastic drummer also, that Lloyd. And
yes,
so,
so he would have been the person that I saw growing up the most locally. So
so apart from some local persons you have seen, are there any drummers that impress you? Because basically you're playing for T-Orchestra, and T-Orchestra has a certain genre of music. They are a lot into a lot of kadas, zouk and so on, and probably a few calypsos now and then and so forth. But as Tyrek was saying, for you to really excel as a drummer, you have to explore various genres of music,
definitely.
and he does that, and that's a demonstration of what he's going to do tonight. And so, how did that come about for you? Because I'm sure, and I've heard you exploring different rhythms and beats, and so how did that come about for you?
Well, I listen to all styles of music, all types of music. There are quite a few female musicians, female drummers out there. Is it Carlos Santana's wife? I don't know what
Because
her name
Santana is a veteran
His
of
wife.
many years. Oh, his
is-
wife does drum
is
too.
the drummer. Excellent.
I
drummer. don't know why
never
I'm
knew
missing her
that.
name. Is it Cindy? I keep forgetting her name, which is weird because I am. I really
Yeah,
look
because
up to
Carlos,
her.
I grew up with Carlos, knowing Carlos as one of the better drummers, and Buddy Miles
Oh, Carlos,
in the times.
the guitars.
Oh, that
So his
one, the
right,
guitarist.
Carlos
Oh, the
Santana.
guitarist. Okay,
So
okay.
his wife was the drummer for his band. She's
Ah,
amazing.
okay.
I think it's Cindy Blackman, but I feel like I'm calling the wrong name.
Okay, that's cool.
Sheila E is a known percussionist and drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And there are quite a few female drummers and other drummers. Just
Did you see
generally.
Professor Orioles and
Those are
Styrock and so drum in your time growing
I
up as a
did
little
not.
child? You never saw had the
I did
opportunity?
not.
You never saw Styrock drum?
No. Well, we
Oh.
met recently.
I know
That's
you
the
met
only
recently, but have you
time
actually
I
seen him
had-
in performance?
That's the only time I saw him perform, but not as part of any bands as such.
Oh, okay. Yes, it has been a very interesting phenomenon. What do you have to say to people who sort of sidestep drummers? What do you tell them? Because you heard some of the points that I mentioned that people seem to say, well, okay, we can do that a drummer because there's a drum machine existing, and we can just program the drum machine to do whatever you want to do. And how do you claim the importance of a drummer? What do you tell a young man or band? Look, you need me, you need us as drummers.
Nothing beats a live musician. So
Nothing is a live musician.
in desperate times, if you have a drum machine or to add, it can add to your music, it accentuates the music. But if you have a live drummer, you get the feels. If you want to go from just singing to playback, it's almost like singing to playback.
Yes.
And you want to perform, you want to have your jams, you want to have your stops, you definitely need live musicians because you feel the music.
But there
you
may
feel when
also
it
be a
changes.
direct correlation between persons not even recognizing that, because most time, sad to say, probably now Dominican situation, and maybe even extending to the Caribbean, that we basically not know or check those technicalities about the music. Basically, just come to enjoy ourselves. But there are a lot of people, especially even in French countries, they come there and they actually want to see a person explore the instrument. So, for instance, when I come and see Kassav play, Kassav don't play this drum machine stuff. They might come with 3 drummers on stage to get the sound that they want.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So they might have the main drummer, they have 2 percussions on the side, and you're getting the authentic groove and the feel that you actually want to. I mean, obviously, there's a cost to that. But when I come and see a show, maybe as a more adult person, I come to see a show, I really will come to see a musician exploit his music and not something just happening. But where's that coming from now, whatever, and things and so on. So that is a very, very important point. And I also feel that right now that slowly the world is sort of realizing that even with the advent of AI and all those things that we have right now, but I think most people who come to see a concert, when they come to a dance, a drum machine can maybe play.
Yeah,
But when you come to actually a concert, you really want to come to see the excellence of music. It's almost like going and see 2020 and Test cricket, my boy. When you can see Test cricket, when you see a guy batting for a whole day, it's because that man can bat, It's not just because he just hold the bat, A 2020 might go and swing a bat a couple of times, might not be a great batsman, and he may score a 50, 60 runs a century. But if you see a man sitting wicket a whole day and a half, it's because the man can play, the man can do something right. So that's how I really relate the whole drummer and the drum machine aspect. Presently, Benanja, what you really do now as a drummer? Are you practicing with any band or playing with any group, or you just into your pan now and then or whatever?
Well, I like you have mentioned, I do play pan, so I play steel pan with Pan and Harmony. Good evening, guys. I don't know if y'all are listening. We have practice right now, so
yeah.
But I am the most or the newest member of the Swinging Stars. So I
Yes,
recently
that's
joined
weird.
them last
And
year,
that's your
at the end of
season.
last year.
Calypso
And
season.
it's now Calypso season.
Yes.
So
Saturday you're on. Tell them that.
we're on tomorrow, actually. You can check out the Stardom tent.
Oh, yes, the 10th. Yes, the
From
10th is on tomorrow.
8:30. I have the right information.
Yeah, it's around that.
8:30,
It's around that.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow, and that would be at the Anchorage.
And you also be at the quarterfinals.
And then the quarterfinals.
On Saturday.
And then next week again at it. So there's a lot to look forward to for Calypso for the carnival season. With
if you had a chance like Sty Rock and left Dominican and go overseas, you're still a young person. Would you do drumming as a career? If it pays you, well?
So that's an interesting story. I have been a full-time musician.
Okay.
So I was on ship for a while. So I have had
tell us about that. Tell us about that, Benanju. I never knew you were on ship.
Yes. I was after Maria.
So
I did get the opportunity. So I have traveled, have moved a bit. I have played professionally, and it is definitely something that as a musician you would enjoy, because you're doing what you love. You get to play it for hours at a time. You get to see the world, and there's a lot of opportunities that we don't always get here. So it's a good. If I got to go out,
you would do that.
Probably would. Yeah, man. Maybe. I can't say yes. Life, you have to consider life.
Life, all kind of stuff. Yes. Yeah. But your experience on the ship, for instance, and playing, because in terms of the types of music,
yes,
I guess the variety of music. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I played with is it a lounge band? It's called a lounge band. So the members of the band were from the Czech Republic.
Okay.
And I played with Rodney Thomas.
So you had to play a lot of rock then.
We played rock. We played the top 40s. So that's what you play. So all the big hits, whatever songs that.
Okay. So the Hotel Californias and those kind of songs, those standards.
Yes, definitely.
You have to do the songs. Yes.
Yes, you play all those songs, and it's a good opportunity. You meet so many different musicians, different backgrounds, different genres. So I didn't play for them. I remember trying to play reggae with them, and they wanted to play reggae.
But we're not into that. They really wanted to do that.
No, they wanted to play reggae, and it was lacking the little touch. They did well,
Yeah, I know.
So all that adds to how you need to have live musicians, because that gives a live feeling.
Yes. And as for reggae, you must play for live drummer, man. Come on.
Yes.
Reggae music and drum machine, that doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work. It's a feel. And I guess the people from the Czech Republic really admire the fact that you're a Caribbean person, and they may be warm to that idea. They were kind of depending on you too.
So it was Ronnie and myself, and they were just really happy. So as soon as they met us, they're like, yes, we're gonna play this song. And they kept calling reggae songs, and we're like, we can't play only reggae for the people.
But they love the reggae.
Everybody loves reggae.
Yes. And that's reggae has gone international, and that is what we're looking for, to aspire for our groups. And the nice thing about, I always say with Andrew about Dominican musicians, and I'm sure you have experienced that, they always say Dominican musicians are so very versatile. They can play almost anything. You might even go in Jamaica yourself and play in a band, and you might find all they'll be able to play properly is reggae music or somewhere. But basically, they would not know about, too much about the soca and so on and so on. You might know more about. As a matter of fact, when you go to Jamaica, I spend a little time in Jamaica, and they will tell you more about they call us the Dung Island people. Dung Island, small island people. Yeah, Dung Island. So it's from Jamaica up, to the US and so on. So they're more into those kind of music and so on. So they're more look at that. But unlike, I think our background has more been a background of struggle from the time, and I guess where we are placed between two French islands, Guadeloupe and Martinique. It has forced us to understand that type more of, diverse, the French more diverse, to move on musical thing and so. So what's the future for Benanju as you leave us in terms of your music and your career in music and so? I know basically in Dominica and those places there, you really try your best, but very few of us can really live off music, but we do it as a pastime. So what is your future perspective for?
I don't want to say
music?
It's just a pastime.
No, most of us do it. Not for you, but most people do it as a pastime.
Like I said, I cannot take music out of my life. If you try to take it out of my life, I'll probably just drop down and die right there. So whatever opportunity there is, I'm probably going to try to pursue it. At the moment, I'm drumming with Swinging Stars. I'm playing with Pan and Harmony. So I'm getting my gigs. I also play solo. So I play events, still pan, wherever I get the opportunity, which is something I'm doing. I also aim to produce and write songs and create music.
Yeah, man.
So it's something I'm going to keep doing. I cannot stop.
But
so I see myself doing that.
We can't leave here. You are the lead persons in the CXC, the Cape
yeah.
program. You must talk about that. Tell us about
The
that.
Cape program that we did.
That we did. I did. Yes, I did program too. But tell us about that.
Yes, so it was last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes.
Right. So we did the Cape program
In music.
in music
Yeah.
and in business
Music business also, yeah.
And yes, I was the top in the Caribbean for that. So that was the
Say that again, Benanjo. Don't say it so you're the top of it. That's a big thing, Mas.
yes, that was the top in the Caribbean.
Yes, for music, yes. Yes,
In the
Benanjo
Cape
was the
exam.
top in the music. You see, she's trying to keep the liquor go down, you know, but it's a big thing because really and truly that you are also a teacher, and basically I don't think we pay enough emphasis on drama and music and student education, the arts in the schools, and I think it was some like 6 or 7 of us who did that part. I did drama also.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what
about
that did that program, and I've started exploring the opportunity of using it at the SMA where I presently doing my final vocation. You know, and basically we do things like plays, and right now we're doing the SMA Calypso show. That's why I have some of the guys coming just now
Okay.
to talk about the show. We do doing the SMA Calypso show because I'm trying to impart some of what I learn and try and spread it among the young people. So had you had the opportunity yourself as a teacher of music and want to top the Caribbean, you can apply for jobs in the Caribbean. People take you right now, you know, because you're there. Yeah, and want to top the Caribbean, the Cape exam. And Cape exam basically is not just a CXC exam, it's a higher level, advanced level exam of the CXC. And of course, Benanjo topped that exam 2 years ago. So how are you?
Arranging,
Yeah,
composition, and
okay. How are you getting the opportunity to explore that right now in your school, or
not
to
at the
utilize
moment.
it?
Not really. I use it. I use it. I can't say how I use it, but I know I use it. I
Yeah,
use my music is used.
You're
all
the
the
music
time,
teacher.
but
You teach music there
no,
too, you
I
know.
did teach last year, but
Mhm.
not at the moment.
Okay.
But it is still something that's
Yeah,
used.
you can use
somehow.
now and then in your work and
Yes.
so on at the school. Well, Benanjo, it was really, really wonderful having you coming here, and I'm sure, of course, as you probably indicated, you might go and see what Sai is doing over there a little later, maybe.
Don't get me in trouble.
Oh, you have your group. Yes, you have your group. Yes, your group. But after your group, man, they'll still be playing. After your practice, you might still be able to come around and so. So it was nice, you know, even though you have your practice with your group and so, to step in to speak to us about the work, because we started with the drums, because everything really started with the drums. The drum speaks the language of the people of the Caribbean. And when we return, we'll have some young people come here to speak to us and sing their songs and probably do a performance here for you. Don't miss out on this as we come back to On Earth. Okay, we are back here on Earth, where we look at the art, culture, literature, and the business in Dominica. And we don't only concentrate on Dominica, as the program delves into our Dominicans in diaspora, but also Caribbean writers, Caribbean visual artists, Caribbean culinary artists, and we extend that to the global, the universe. And we think it's a wonderful innovation by Q to have this program. And this is the first, and you're part of history here in Dominica. We were just talking to Style Rock, and we were talking to of Benanja and about her music as drummers. And of course, Style's en route to a performance as we speak right now. One of probably Dominica's greatest drummer ever. He was part of this program, and it'll go down in history. Dominica's first female drummer for the Swinging Stars. And tonight we have the president of the Dominica Calypso Association, but we're not going to talk too much about Calypso in particular because he's going to be on next week. I have a very big, a great audience next week. I think it's the first time in history in Dominica, and we do it right here on Earth. We are unearthing the talents of around 5 kings in the diaspora. We're going to be talking to Wizard. We're going to be talking to Venturer. We're going to be talking to Hurricane. We're going to be talking to Shaky. I think around 5 or 6 kings out there in Dominica, and it would be a wonderful thing to have all of them on one program, speaking about their time as a monarch, and we'll have Observer joining them and speaking presently as the current president of Calypso. But so we'll not spend too much time talking to Observer. The purpose they're here, Observer and Royet are here on our program because they're going to do something wonderful that no station have ever experienced. As a matter of fact, they're going to actually formally launch their compositions for 2024, the Calypso songs. And what's going to be different about this launch is that Observer here, they'll introduce their songs, and Royet, we're going to start with Royet. We always start with ladies first, they said. And of course, Royet has other appointments. So we're going to start with Royet. She'll probably introduce the song. And what we're going to do is do a playback version of the song. She's going to sit down and just free up, sing a song and express it. So Dominica, the Caribbean, the world, Royet, quarterfinalist 2024. She's going to introduce the song, and then we're going to ask the DJ to take it away. So Royet, tell us about your song and introduce the song.
Hi guys, my name is Royet Laura. I'm from Portsmouth. My song is entitled The Village Matters. It was written and composed by yours truly, Mr. Ian Jackson, and mixed and mastered by Merlin Centilier, aka The Wizard. Basically, the song is about asking or hoping and praying that we would become what we were before, what a community was before, looking after our young ones, bonding, not being scared to ask our neighbors for help. Basically, just what a village used to be rather than now.
Okay. So she's going to do this right now in the studio, live here on Q95 on Earth. Yes, as we're just trying to get this music together, as you perform that, I just want to tell you that, of course, next week, That's next week Tuesday when we host this program. We're gonna be joined also by Gabby. Gabby is the 9-time monarch of Barbados, and he's going to be part of the program. Apart from those kings we have in Diaspora and the Observer. So now we can go on to Royet.
What? Jumbe, Jumbe. Ooh. Aha. There was a time, you will agree, when the village used to raise the family to erect and nurture tomorrow's society. I'm sorry, these times no longer exist. Everybody just minding their own business. And so we nurturing misfits and reject. Living society void, full of hate and regret. But the village matters. It exuded love and unity. The village matters. An African proverb of reality. Now we're killing each other for a piece of land. Foreigners with locals concocting plans. But it was better when the village mattered. Yes, it was better when the village mattered. Why? Why? Jumbe, Jumbe. Ooh. Well, you go down the road or you go to work, and the neighborhood I keep watch. This ain't no joke. To ward off any strangers who would come around to lurk. You run out of supplies at your house. To your neighbor you could easily shout out, send me some dashing and a few grains of salt. Now everyone to himself, that's what it's about. The village matters. It exuded love and unity. The village matters. An African proverb of reality. Now we have got dogs and barbed wire fence, living in secret and pretense. But it was better when the village mattered. Yes, it was better when the village mattered. Whoa, whoa, Jumbe, Jumbe. Ooh. Aha. Listen, if your child misbehaves on the street, an elder could stop them or use the whip. And what's the worst for them at home if they complain about it? You had to greet good afternoon and morning. Children were seen, not heard shouting. Police and teacher were like mother and like father. Respect for the law, obedience, no civil disorder. The village matters. It exuded love and unity. The village matters. An African proverb of reality. We need once more to come together like we did for Kenisha. See, it was better when the village mattered. Yes, it was better when the village mattered. Whoa, whoa, Jumbe, Jumbe. Ooh. Aha. Thank you.
Yes, well, the village matters, and of course, this song will matter in the quarterfinals. Before you leave, of course, Tell us about yourself, Roet, your singing career, how you came into Calypso, and something about yourself and your music.
Well, I started singing at about 11 or 12 years old. My first big gig was the Dumbfest Song Contest in 2016, where I got first runner up. I started singing calypso in 2012. My first song was penned by Mr. Pelandron Baptist. Oh no! It was penned by Almario Academy. My first song.
Okay.
My second song was penned by Pelandron Baptist. And then I started doing backup vocals or background singing for Stardom Calypso Tent. And about 2 years ago, I decided, okay, Roy, if you can do the backup, then I think you can take front stage. So I started singing. My first big calypso was written again by Mr. Ian Jackson last year. And then I made it to the quarterfinals. However, I wasn't successful to make it to the semifinals. But I tried again this year. And again, I'm in the quarterfinals, hoping and praying that I can make it to the semifinals and hopefully through to the finals this year.
Yeah, well, indeed, even though I should say so myself, I think you have a beautiful song and you're executing it very well. What do you say, DJ? Yeah, man. And
She did not say a few things about herself. That is very significant.
yes.
She has improved tremendously from
Okay.
last year to this year. I don't even go back to the years before, just from last year to this year,
All
because
right.
I saw her perform this song at the eliminations, and she has definitely gone up a few notches up in terms of her
Diction,
stage
confidence, yes,
presence
yes.
and confidence and all that. And that's significant for people to know about you, because it means that when you say those things about you, it means that you yourself recognizing that there's growth in you, as well as people will say it too. But she did not say nothing about she's a Cicero singer.
I was. I'm no longer there.
Was, well, that's important.
But you
Was.
say that. You have to say
was.
that.
I was a member.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Well, Gita Vai, let people know that
Of
it was a big thing, you know.
That's a big thing in
Dominica,
Dominica.
it was a big thing. Yeah.
Cicero singers, you know.
Yeah, it's good
I think
singers,
that-
good
yeah,
singers.
And it's not just that, you know, it's the group,
Yes, yes.
you know, to be part of a group like Cicero
You
singers.
have to have discipline,
you have
talent,
that-
and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You understand?
Anti-pull.
Because anti-pull
Yes.
don't take nothing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That
For
doesn't,
granted,
that
yes.
doesn't meet a
Certain
standard.
standard, yes,
You have
yes.
to meet a certain standard.
And Takamoto is
You know?
anything worth doing
It's
is worth doing good.
Good.
Well, yeah,
Right.
something right.
That's-
Something like this.
Them things are important. You must never forget
Yeah.
them when you go to interview, because them things there is important for
Yeah.
people to know who you are. You know,
Certainly.
because we see the artists on the road every day, but we don't really know them.
Know
That's
them.
why them little interviews is good, so
Mhm.
the world can really know who you are. You know, and not just a person singing, but they can know a lot more about you.
So you on Facebook looking at us Facebook, root for Royet. Royet. If the village matters for you, then of course on
Yeah, man.
Saturday come and support Royet, all our fans and friends and so forth. And as you heard the president of Calypso said, she has improved. I want to endorse that quite a lot.
Yeah, man.
Articulation, have
Definitely.
confidence and everything. And we expect to see big things from Royet. So Royet, thank you very much for joining us. And it was really nice.
Yeah, man.
You could hang around for a few moments. We can have Observer, of course, president of Calypso. Like I tell you, we're not going to do a long interview with Observer because next week is his week, among other Calypsonians. But tonight, we are also here to do another job, and we're going to hit and launch his latest production. And he'll tell us about the name, and then we'll talk a little bit about it after. So tell us about your song, Observer.
Okay, well, yes. And they always say that you still have to tell whatever opportunity you get to tell people about you. You have to say it, because sometimes you say something about you, and persons who heard today, they may not have been
Listening today.
There are other persons who have not been listening at the time. So when
Right.
you say it today, these people may hear. So I am the president of the Calypso Association at present, and I have been a Calypsonian for many, many, many years. I've won the Calypso Monarch title on a few occasions, the Road March, the Stardom King of the Tent. I've been a consistent finalist for years. You know, so I've done a lot for Calypso. I've done a lot in Calypso, you know.
You were in Calypso since at that independence competitions.
Yeah, actually,
So it's a long time.
Actually,
Yeah.
I started Calypso really officially in 1984 at the
Yeah.
junior Calypso level. No matter
Yes.
if I was the first Calypsonian ever to go and represent the Goodwill School at the time. First ever. That was groundbreaking. You know, so I've been there for a while. I have a lot of experience, and that's why a lot of the new Calypsonian who comes into the arena, I always take the opportunity to share some of my experience with them to get them better. Even though I'm competing against them, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is you help people grow. You help people to become successful. And that to me is more important. You understand? Because when you have been given a favor by the Almighty God, He gives it to you to benefit you, but He also expects that you will use it to benefit other people too. So these things are very important to be teaching people to be better and to, you know, to improve. So the song I sing in this year is In Spite of It All. It's a song, it's a different type of patriotic song. It doesn't really speaks about the beauty of Dominica in terms of the rivers and the sceneries and those things. It speaks more about us as a people. There are certain values and there are certain aspects of we Dominicans as a people that sometimes we overlook, you understand? And we just highlighting it. And one of those things is the values. We are very family oriented. Dominica is a country that is very, very family. Dominicans love that kind of family setting. They love their family. That's why people out there, I mean, if you look at the statistics in terms of burials and renumerate things that has come down from families overseas to send here, it tells you that people are very family oriented. And the song speaks about that. It also speaks about there are certain things that might divide us. However, there are certain things that bring us together. And that is we have that kind of a soft-heartedness about us that a man can be fighting if you're too familiar in politics. But if he heard that you fall sick, he will stop the politics. He will check you. When you get better, you get back on your feet, then he'll pound you again in politics. You know, that type of thing. But we take time off to sympathize and empathize with each other. And that's a very valuable thing about it. So just highlighting some of those things, you know.
Okay, so having said that, let's hear In Spite of It All live in the studio of Q95.
Badai, nanane, nanane, nanananai, oh, oh. Excuse me, young man, where are you going? You think the grass is always greener on the other side? You painting a picture like it's hell you live in, and everywhere better than the nature eye. It's true politicians forming the fool and know how to divide and rule. But when come to empathy, values, and family, there's no place on this earth I would rather be. In spite of it all, in spite of it all, I'm not trading Dominica to live in Israel or Gaza. In spite of it all, in spite of it all, I still love this land, one for each and each for all. The politics divide us red and blue. One thing still remains true. We does unite and congregate and sympathize with each other's fate in spite of it all. All in spite of it all. Oh yes, that's the call. Badai, de-da-da-dai. Badai, na-na-nay, na-na-nay. Na-na-na-na-nay. Whoa, whoa. In Dominica, everyone knows their neighbor and can still ask for a little salt and flour. We not like some other countries or race when they have security and fence all over the place. And as bad as some may play, hurricanes doesn't make us kneel and pray. 'Cause deep down in our hearts, we were brought up like that. So we return from whence we depart. Oh Lord, in spite of it all, in spite of it all, I'm not trading Dominica to live in Ukraine or Russia. No way, in spite of it all, in spite of it all, I stand ready to answer anytime she calls. Though in religion we may share different view, one thing still remain true. We just unite and congregate, sympathize with each other's faith, in spite of it all. Oh, in spite of it all. That's the call. Ba-da-ba-dee, de-na-na-na. Badai, nanane, nanane, pamandi bambai, na 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 na, na 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 na. In this country, no one dies of poverty. If you see a man eating in rubbish, he mad, not hungry. Mango and breadfruit falling on the ground. No one here dies of starvation. But some boasting they live in United States. And when you check it out, they're really living in a state. Because it's not money that make people happy. It's peace of mind. True friends and family, trust me, in spite of it all, in spite of it all, I'm not trading Dominica or Ukraine or Guyana. No way, in spite of it all, in spite of it all. Though sometimes I bawl, but in my heart, she's all. So if you are a friend of Kyrie or Maton Q, one thing still remains true. We does unite and congregate, sympathize with each other's faith, in spite of it all. All in spite of it all. That's the call. Ba-da-ba-dai, de-da-da-dai. Nam-ma-nam-bam-bi-dum-ma-nam-bam-bam-be. Manai, nanane, nanane, nanana, bamade. Mamana manai. Whoa, whoa.
Yes, yes, in spite of it all. And the two artists mentioned about me being the writer of the song, but that's not it, you know. You can write the best song you want, but if somebody do execute it properly, as our two artists here, it really makes no sense in spite of it all.
That's right.
So you know, so you write a piece of work, you know, DJ, you write a piece of work, and then basically, you know, so you see somebody tear it to try to say, wow, man, this is mash up my piece, you know, but I can't say that in this case, you know. So it's really nice that to do for you here. Tell us something about what you intend to happen in terms of the quarterfinals. As the president, you can add a little word as to what is expected for the quarterfinals this week, and of course, Stardom 10 tomorrow.
Yeah, well, Stardom 10 is tomorrow, as well as the Mass Camp is having something as well in Cicero.
Yeah.
So as president of Calypso Association, I'm just happy to see that we have kicked off the season. You know, it was kind of difficult for us getting prepared because the season is not normally so close, you know. So we had to do what we had to do, and thank God we have gotten the elimination out of the way very early, and then we have kicking off the 10th tomorrow. And even Mass Camp have been doing their thing before, even long before. And then Saturday coming now will be the quarterfinals. The preparations are in order for that. The stage and everything is being set up because we are using the forecourt
Stadium.
the stadium. This is where the festival committee will be setting up for Carnival, as usual for the past few years. It have been there. So things are in order. Things are looking up good. The Calypsonians have been practicing. The band have been working very hard, and the Calypsonians. And one of the things that I am very pleased about is you almost don't know which song is going to make and which song is not going to make. I just find this year have a lot of
Great songs,
calypsos,
yes, great
a lot of great calypsos, and the topics are very wide range, very wide in terms of variety. So I think we're going to have a very competitive quarterfinals. I wish everybody the best, as president of Calypso Association, whatever happens, I wish everybody the best. Everybody put their best foot forward. At the end of the day, what I would like to see most is that all Calypsonians be at their best, and we can satisfy the patrons, that we have given them the best show possible, and they can be satisfied that they got their money's worth.
And we'll be having a female drummer for the first time.
Yes.
History in the making also on Saturday. Bonanza was there. Yes, first quarterfinals ever. And we're glad to just see it. So many people did not live to see 2024 Observer.
My brother, I'm telling you, my brother, let me
just
tell
happy
you
to be there to
something.
see.
You just have to
give thanks. Yes.
I doesn't never stop giving thanks. I give thanks every day. I never leave my bed. Without giving God thanks and praise for making me see the light of a new day.
And guys, if you haven't observed, I have my shirt, You think I do have my shirt,
In spite of it all?
In spite of it all. I have my shirt, my arts and culture.
Arts and culture.
So you are listening. In case I forget what I listened to, I just watch my shirt. On Earth, arts, culture, and literature, business buzz. We are earthing activities, and I'm sure things that you probably did not know about the arts. We get in depth into artists, be it visual, performing artists, poets, and whatever. This program is going to revolutionize things, and with your help. So we're asking you could call 449-3095, 3096, 3097. Of course, if you're overseas in diaspora, because right now we're on Facebook, and you can also call us 1305 432 9624. 432-9624. We're just going to get our studios prepared as we go to our theme song, and we're going to be talking to some junior Calypsonians from SMA, and later we're going to be speaking to Dr. Joan Pulido about her book. So we're just going to take a little pause for a just cause as we unearth more talent, more information on Q95. On Earth, yes. Okay, and we're back to on Earth. We want to say hi to our diaspora people. Of course, tell us what's happening. Tell us how you feel. What's happening right here in the studio. It's a new program, and we are featuring arts, culture, literature, and business. The business of all these aspects. We're looking at visual arts. We're looking at performing arts, all sorts of arts. And today, we're going to be having on Friday this week the SMA Calypso competition. Now, those of you who do not know that SMA was the first school or the first institution to commence the Calypso Junior Monarch competition under Mr. Elwin. So we're having something under or in remembrance of Mr. Elwin, who was a former principal of the school. And he was very instrumental, not just in sports at SMA, but very instrumental in music and in Calypso, Junior Calypso Monarch. So the Junior Calypso Monarch show that we have today is actually an offshoot of what happened at SMA in the 70s. Okay, basically. So I thought it would be wise, even as my final years at SMA, to try and bring back the Junior Monarch. And so we have two gentlemen there who will be representing a team of 6. The competition is going to take place on Friday at 5 o'clock at the school. And we're going to have a number of guest artists, Trilogy, Shelly. We're going to have Observer, who was here recently. We're going to have Maya, Mika, I think that's the name. And a number of Calypsonians going to make an appearance. Black Diamond, who was a former old boy of SMA, okay? And so all those are going to perform, and we're going to backed up by a 4-man crew. It's going to be a good, and so we're asking people, because we need to raise funds for the school. As you know, it's not a government school, and they're more concerned about what they contribute towards salaries. But of course, there are other things that have to be done at SMA in terms of, the whole facade of the building and so on, and repairs to certain things. So we're asking the general public to please come out and support. And for this reason, we have 2 of the young students here. They're just going to do something, using acoustic instrument. We have one of the teachers at the back, Mr. Che Gittins, a guitarist. He's also involved in Cicero and a number of other things, creative young man. And we're just going to have some little fun there before we come to Dr. Polidor, who is our feature on literature tonight. So we have here, tell us who you are. Okay, we're going to say it again. Say who you are.
My name is Kaelan Matthew.
And we have, yes, go ahead.
Dylan Regis.
Dylan Regis. Just tell us about something about yourself, Kaelan.
I am 12 years old, and my stage name is King K. I am in first form.
All right. Dylan.
Well, I'm 16 years old. My stage name is DAR, so DEAR, and I am in 4th form. First year Calypso.
Okay, tell us why AR, so people might want to know why is AR.
Well, it's from my middle and last name.
Okay, what is that?
Well, I can't tell you my middle name, but my last name is
Regis. He does what he does, but it's not artificial intelligence.
No, sir.
I'll just say. And we have King K. So tonight they're going to grace us live in studio. I mean, we have never really done that in Dominica. And basically, it's something new. And I hope that you enjoy it. So we're just going to do it, acoustic style. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. And the song title is what?
Reservation.
Reservation. So we have the man DAR and live diaspora, live to the world. We're going to have AR. When you can stand up AR, we're going to have you live singing something called Reservation. So let's go.
I met this lady.
but this is right. Be looking nice and dandy. I said, boy, you really lucky. I call her home for dinner. What you making? I making reservation. She can't build big, so she making reservation. She can't boil water, so she making reservation. KFC for lunch and dinner, making reservation. Her nails long like the river Nile. She can fool anyone with her smile. And she dressed to impress. I think I had a God bless. I asked her, baby, can you make some soup? She say she making reservation. Not ready. Yeah, she making reservation. She can't build things, so she making reservation. She can boil water, she making reservation. KFC for lunch and dinner, making reservation. She making reservation. You making reservation, you making reservation. I had to report to my mommy. She said this girl is not for me. I can't believe this beauty. In the kitchen, I was casually. I asked her, baby, can you make some oats? If you hear when she brag and boast, she making reservation, money. She making reservation. She can't build things, so she making reservation. She can boil water, she making reservation. KFC for lunch and dinner, making reservation. She making reservation. She making reservation.
Well. Right here in Q95 studios, of course, we are making reservations. And I hope you have made a reservation for On Earth. Every Tuesday, it's going to be like this. 6 to 9, 6 to 8. I'm saying 6 to 9. We should almost go to 9 now. 6 to 8, yes, we have this program On Earth, and we are unearthing the arts, culture, and literature in Dominica, the diaspora, and the world by extension. And the program is going to be varied. Like I said, I just want to remind guys that next week, we're going to have a massive show again right here on Q95, on Earth. What we're doing, we're on Earthing Talents, and we're going to be having people like the mighty Gabby from Barbados. He's going to be joining us online. And we have people like Bingo, was the last Calypso president of St. Lucia. He's going to be joining us. And we have some diaspora kings, Ventura, and all these guys going to be there. Wizard, going to be part of the program next week. And we're going to be featuring something from the Calypso GIF of Steinberg Henry as our literary piece. We're going to have also some commentary on, let me see what the commentary is going to be about. Next week is going to be about judging the Calypso process, because we're going to be just along the lines where we're going to be going to our semifinals. So judging, people always talk about judging. We're going to talk a little bit about judging our commentary. But number 2, we're going to have King K, just 12 years old. He's just 12 years old. And King K is going to tell us, what is your name of your song again, King K?
The name of my song is Learn.
Learn. So if you want to learn, you got to listen and learn.
It's a message to the students.
Message to the student. So you hear. So let's go. King K, let's tell us about it. Yeah, you can just take it. Wonderful.
Okay. That's right. Oh, children. Let's go. Students, you better learn well, 'cause the only way to eat a bread Your parents may be here today, but it won't be so every day. Cause when they're dead and gone, yes, that day will come. You have to continue your mission. So if you mess around, you'll be singing a sad song. So my children, you better learn. Let's go. All right, children. Opportunity, there for all to see. So approach it with dignity. Prosperity, it don't come easy. So you better get real busy. It takes money, a job and salary to live a life of decency. But if you blow your mind on dope, I tell you, there'll be no hope. So you better learn. Papana pana pana. Yes. Oh yes. Oh my children. Let's go. Stop the shooting and senseless killing. Live and give your life some meaning. Teachers trying their best, but all you giving them is endless stress. Think you're a bully, playing heavy, and you think that that is Irie. Now you have opportunity to get a CXE and later on your degree, so you better learn. Oh yes, let's go. Children, opportunity, there for all to see. So approach it with dignity. Prosperity, it don't come easy. So you better get real busy. It takes money, a job and salary to live a life of decency. But if you blow your mind on dope, I tell you, there'll be no hope, so you better learn. Oh yes, I hope you learned. Oh children, let's go. Let's write. Thank you.
Yeah, man. King K.
Thank you.
And two young men of the St. Mary's Academy. Of course, the two first places at that competition on Friday, the two first places will be representing the school. Of course, we have the Tice, who should be part of that representation. He's the reigning monarch. He's also SMA student. So we're going to have 3 SMA students represented in the junior monarch. And of course, it promises to be a big one on the 26th. I think that's the date for the junior monarch competition. But what we're asking you now is all Dominicans listening, please tune in and be part of what's happening. And those come to the show. It's just $20 for adults, $10 for children. And of course, you can send, make sure that the students come and listen to real good Kaiso and of course the guest artists on stage. Well, guys, yeah, it's Friday. The time, yeah, Friday. I'm just reminded by a teacher there, boy, Che. Yes, it's actually, the show is actually 4:30. It's going to start at 4:30 p.m. So you must be there early. There's a well-stocked bar awaiting you also, food and everything available. The SMA yard is a very big yard. So, of course, it's accommodation all for you. We have the tents and everything, the music, the food. And we ask everybody, the convent ladies, Wesley High School, come on, you all guys say it. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, guys. Tell me about it. Sell the show. Tell me about it.
There's going to be a whole lot of people there, all different types of people. We hope all of you can make it, especially the ladies.
Yeah. That's a 12-year-old that's in that, so you must know. He's not yet 14, so you better learn. So that's it. So let's say what you have to say to your fans and friends and encourage your family members and everybody to come along.
Right, everybody come along. Young Calypsonians, SMA, the long time since this has been done, and especially this has been done by Mr. Elwin. Tribute to Mr. Elwin. Y'all will
Right.
know ahead of time. But come out there, support, vibes there, everything cool, food, drinks, everything you need there. Must come.
Yeah,
Yes.
wonderful.
Once in
Said
a
it well.
lifetime opportunity for everyone. So
Yeah.
come on.
So well said, guys. And of course, we want to wish you guys well. And you heard a little tidbit of your appetite, so that your appetizer, so that you can know exactly what the show is about. We have 4 other young men joining this too. We have there's also the female, I think the Miss Teen will be doing the crowning, by the way, of the show, and it promises to be a wonderful show. Of course, guys like Shelley and of course Black Diamond are all products of the St. Mary's Academy. Thank you to the teachers and the staff, and of course, Mr. Laza, who is really instrumental, and Rena Stevens in particular. Those two are really stalwarts in trying to make sure that the show happens, of course, and Ms. Basil and a few others who have been helping along the way to make sure that this is successful. All in an effort to remember the honor Mr. Elwin and all the other persons that have come on board to help to sponsor and to make the show worthwhile. So we want to thank you, gentlemen, for
Thank
coming
you.
in. And as we make way for when you come in our next section, we're going to speak into Dr. Joan Polidor on her book called Influential Women. And that's going to form part of our final half of this program. And you have been listening, you are listening, as a matter of fact, to On Earth, Art and Culture and Literature. And we'll be back in 3 minutes right here. So call Diaspora, pay attention, call your friends, make them know every Tuesday this is happening right here. Remember, our number locally is 449-3095. Call us and tell us what you think about the program. It's new, and we need to know how you feel it, how you absorb it, how you love it. 449-3096. And of course, if you're overseas, it's 432-9624. We'll be back shortly. Dr. Joan Polidor is the daughter of Mr. Cyril and Christiana Deja. She is the 9th of 16 children. She was born at Mont Prosper on the Caribbean island of Dominica. The village was called Mont Prosper because it is prolific. It is a prolific village. Her parents were devout Roman Catholics, and so she was not allowed to read the Bible. However, Dr. Polidor was determined to study the Word of God. In 1979, that's Hurricane David, you remember? Dr. Polidor relocated to the USA due to destruction of her home by the hurricane. Dr. Polidor is married to Pastor Julian Polidor, and they are elated parents of 4 professional daughters, Beverly, Julia, Amanda, and Deborah. Dr. Polidor started her teaching career after graduating from high school, then taught as a public school teacher at Mount Prosper in 1964 and hostel preschool from 1970 to 79. After moving to the USA, she attended Empire State College, where she studied nursing and worked as a Holly Patterson Geriatric Center in 1983. She also worked as a family care provider, supervising mentally challenged clients for 25 years. Dr. Polidor is a member of the Gospel Light House Assembly and is a committed servant of the Lord. While there, she attended Bethel Bible Institute and acquired her associate's degree in theology. And in 1999, Dr. Polidor was a member of the Abundant Life Ministry and served as an evangelist and dean of the Bible School. In 2000, she acquired her bachelor's degree in theology at Vision International. She was ordained chaplain by the Christian Chaplain Association of New York. Dr. Polidor was an ordained elder and together with her husband founded Agape Ministries, Inc. and Christian Academy where she served as pastor, youth advocate, and the school administrator. Under the leadership of Dr. Polidor and her husband, the ministry gave birth to a youth center, soup kitchen, and homeless shelter. In 2013, Dr. Polidor acquired her Master's of Divinity at Southwest Bible College and Seminary. In 2014, Dr. Polidor returned to her native island, Dominica, where she and her husband are presently pastoring at the Warner Pentecostal Church. Now, in 2015, Dr. Polidor acquired her doctorate degree in Christian counseling and has already conducted many sessions in counseling in the USA and in Dominica. Dr. Polidor is the author of the book, The Ministry of Hospitality, and anticipating the publication of Influential Women, Women of Purpose, Women of Faith. This is the book we're talking about, freshly published, and we're going to talk to Dr. Polidor about it. I've just serving a background about Dr. Polidor. And like I said, in this program called On Earth, we are unearthing all sorts of talent. And of course, we had to unearth Dr. Joan Polidor. What a good way to start it on a very positive note in terms of our literature study or sectional literature, because it's all about Dr. Polidor is a baptized, she's a Christian, and it's always good to start things with that type of foundation when we're doing programs of that nature. So we're really happy to have you here on Q95. Dr. Polidor, welcome to our studios right here.
Thank you.
Tell us, doctor, what influenced you, first of all? You are a doctor of divinity, and basically what influenced you to really get into that sort of ministry in terms of publication, apart from being pastoring? What influenced that?
My experience through faith, perseverance, courage, and through my journey, I did not want to keep all this to myself, but I want to share it with women so they can really discover how influential we are.
Okay. And of course, what actually spurred that aspect? Because would you say that in the Caribbean and the United States, where you spent many years, would you say that women have been in doubt about how influential they are? Hence, you're trying to encourage them and give them faith and courage.
Yes, I would say that. And that is what I would like to emphasize to our women, to use their influence to glorify God in a positive way.
Okay. I was going through a book and I noted you said some very interesting things where you actually referred to the fact that you are not actually trying to say that with the whole movement of women lib and women are actually asserting their authority more than ever before. You are not saying that they should usurp the authority of the man, but they should actually embrace the qualities they have to even make their lives better and make their families better. Can you expound on that?
I want to emphasize that God created us with a special purpose. Therefore, we should not usurp that authority, but to use that influence to motivate, to encourage, to build even our own family, our community, and our island.
You have also mentioned some persons, some heroines of the Bible, and a lot of people, scholars of today, they always make mention of the fact that when you look at the picture of the Last Supper, because of things existed in those days, that women were given a back seat, and there's a school of thought that many people believe that Christ had other disciples at that table apart from the 12 that is being painted, let's say by Michelangelo and so on. And so in those days, certainly you'd find that very few books were written like Esther and so on. And you mentioned Phoebe, I think, in your book also. And those persons have been women of courage. Tell us about a couple of the women you highlight in that book and how they have served as courage as examples for our women of today.
One of my heroine is the mother of Moses.
All right. What is the name?
Jochebed.
Jochebed.
During the period when Moses was being born, the Israelites, they were powerful in Egypt. And so Pharaoh was kind of intimidated by their power, by their strength, by their influence. And so he signed a decree that all the babies from 2 to all the baby boys should be destroyed. But I love Phoebe's courage. The Bible says she defied the king's command, and she hid her baby for 3 months. But you know, babies will not stay under the table quiet.
Yeah, obviously.
So after 3 months, she could no longer keep him under the table. With the wisdom God gave her, she built a basket with straw and laid the bottom with tar.
Yeah.
A woman with courage and faith placed the baby in that basket and put him on the river Nile among all these crocodiles, and had her daughter to stand there to watch what would befall this baby. She could have said, well, after 3 months, that's it.
Yeah.
Let Pharaoh take him. But she was a woman of observance also. And she noticed that her child was different. There were potentials in him. And she did all she could in her power, in her faith, to save Moses, her son, who grew up to be the leader, the prophet, and the deliverer for the children of Israel. Jochebed was being paid to take care of her baby. And she could have said, well, you know, I cannot talk about God. I cannot teach my child about God. But she indoctrinated him. She taught him that you are not an Egyptian, you are Hebrew. And so when Moses grew up, Moses refused. He was schooled under the best college. He had the best education, but that did not deter him from who he was. He was a Hebrew because of what his mother taught him. I also love Phoebe. Phoebe was a woman of courage. When Paul wrote the letter to send to Rome, the men, they were scared because during that time, the believers were being persecuted. Rome murdered all the disciples except one. Only John was spared. So they were afraid they would not spare their life to go to Rome. But Phoebe, she took that letter with the courage and influence. She was not afraid to sacrifice her life and go to Rome to bring the letter of the New Testament to the Roman Christians there.
You have stated, Dr. Joan Olido, that the quotation from your book says the vocation of American women have been pretentiously changed the course in an economic depression, war, social imperatives, and technological advancement. by women who endeavor to collaborate in groups such as Women Trade Union League, the National Organization for Women to reform the quality of life and empower women for freedom to embark on any field or career that they so desire to pursue. Even looking at people like Nelson Mandela's wife, Willie Mandela, and so on, why do you think that these things have not been coming to light? Because, like they always say, behind every great man, there's a great woman. But prior to writings like yours, people tend to sort of hold back or diminish the power of women. Although, right through even the Bible, as you mentioned, there are many examples where women played very integral roles. But however, they sort of put them on the side as a result of that. Why do you think that has been happening? We had Mary Junior Charles, for instance, in Dominica. I mean, people acknowledge her as one of the better leaders we ever saw in the region, and so on. That's one person probably I highlighted a lot. But basically, women have played some major roles in this world. And this book is talking about the influential women. Why has those influential women has not been, as our program say, unearthed before? What do you think?
Because they have not been given the opportunity.
Okay.
And so they are still under bondage.
Mhm.
And this is one of the reasons I want to emphasize to women that God made us special.
Right.
We have a special purpose in life. God, in his infinite wisdom, chose a woman to bring forth his son, the Savior of the world, Jesus Christ. So back then, women were subservients. Stay at home, clean the floors, and that was it. But women has come together, worked together, and put their courage together to change history of women.
And basically, that's what your book is addressing. This is the word of wisdom to all young women. Now you're addressing young women. Please do not terminate your child, because that child that was murdered might be the next senator or the president of the United States. That sounds something like what Donald Trump would say, that the Republicans would say. What is your view? Because you also had a very interesting quotation there. The hand that rocked the cradle ruled the world. Very interesting statement there, basically, the hand that rocked the, and you make mention as an analogy, Jochebed, Moses' mother, and what she actually did and accomplished. So are you one of those who would probably say in America, as you spend some time there, that you should not actually terminate any pregnancy no matter what? Or do you have some reservations about that?
No, I have no reservations.
You just shouldn't terminate any pregnancies, that's what you're saying?
No.
Notwithstanding if it was somebody raped a woman or so on. And that's something that has been about in the United States. So based on your book, I'm just saying, what is your own feelings about that?
My own feelings and opinion about that. Even if a woman was raped, and there's a great preacher in America, he testified that he was raped. His mother was raped, and so the mother gave birth to him.
Right.
And he's doing exploit for the Lord.
Okay.
So I had an opportunity to speak in a church one evening, and I spoke on abortion. The following day, the pastor called me and he said, this woman came to me in tears, and she was telling me how that is what she was going to do. But after hearing me, she changed her mind.
But you know, you have drawn a very good analogy, or give us some very good instruction there, because I never even saw it so really. Sometimes when a woman aborts a child, even though it's through rape or something has happened to her, to save her life sometimes, that child, because we are just men and we don't know, that child might be a savior in the world, might be a very good, important figure.
Right.
So we cannot make that decision about life ourselves. Whether it was raped or whether it was an unwanted pregnancy or whatever, what you say is that we should allow the life to go on and let God do what he has to do.
Right.
Because that child might just be the child to be of significance in the world, and you have basically played God and interrupted that life of that child. That's what you're basically saying.
Amen.
Well, I've said, well, Dr. Pulido. And of course, well, influential women, What about because there's a thrust towards black women? You know, they always say that how can you elevate or show that there are black women who have actually made changes for us as people on the world, on the world stage in terms of, we know of William Mandela, we know of Mary Jane Charles now. Like right now we have from Barbados, was Prime Minister name again, Mia Motley from Barbados, and so on. They are making changes and doing real good things for women. How do you see the modern day women adapting to those situations? Being we live in a very masculine world still, although you see women making some headway, what you would want to say to those women in terms of their influence on the world today?
Again, I would say to women, do not usurp authority. But when the opportunity comes,
Right.
we should seize that opportunity and use that influence.
But would you say, Doc, that basically because we have a situation in the world today where before, as you said, women were more at the home, more domesticated, but now
Yes.
that we have women actually working and leading families in terms of financing, bringing in more money, the breadwinners and so forth, some men seem to think that women, when they reach those situations, they sort of really flaunt their authority, basically, because women were, as if what it says that women were not really born to be in those roles. So when they reach those roles, they really make, I am the boss, that kind of a way. So you find that women, when they begin to lead a lot of times, as a matter of fact, even women you speak to, they'll tell you how they're rather male bosses, because some of the male bosses, they sort of are more mellow and so on. But a woman, when they take a power, in most cases, when they're in a power of authority, when they wield authority, they sort of can really be, aggressive in terms of that wielding of authority. Is it something natural for a woman, for instance, because God allowed man to be head of his home? Is it natural for a woman to lead, or she should remain at the side of a man as Adam? The rib was taken from Adam at the side, and she always remain at the side and not necessarily at the head.
There are some women God has really
blessed
to be the leader.
Okay.
So therefore, you should take that leadership ability and work in that capacity. But to usurp authority or to try to boss, let's say like your husband. For instance, both my husband and myself, we are pastors.
Right.
And I will never say to my husband, I'm going to preach today, unless he says to me, I would like you to minister.
So that's the level of submission.
Yes.
To his authority at the home.
Right.
That's what you're talking about. Okay.
So we are, although we are influential, we must still be submissive.
Yes. I read in your book somewhere that you still emphasize the fact that God made women to be submissive. But where a woman can stop and take the role, if the man is lapsing, obviously the woman has to say, look, you're not playing your role, so she has to step forward and play a role. Am I correct so far?
Yes.
I think you mentioned that in your book, Influential Women. Tell us about the printing of that book and how long did it take for you to compile this production, and where can we find this particular book?
Or you could go to my website.
Tell us what's your website.
www.drjunepolidor.com.
Okay, www. That's published in the US?
Yes.
What is the feeling? How are people warming to this book? How are people receiving the book in the United States and Dominica?
I just brought it down here, and I feel
it's on Amazon?
Yes.
It's right. How are people responding to it, you think? Are you getting some hits on it and people inquiring about it? Or
very much, because I got two developers who called me, and they said they saw my book. Up to today, I was speaking to one, and he ordered 50 copies of that book.
Okay, that's wonderful.
He wants to place it in his bookstore. Another developer called me, and he said he would like to partner with me and to endorse my book to his company.
All right.
So it is doing very good. And I placed some at here in Dominica. It can be purchased at the Pentecostal office in Goodwill.
Okay.
Or at the bookstore.
That's Jay's.
Not Jay's.
Not Jay's. Which one?
The Christian.
Oh, Christian literature. That's
literature.
Okay.
Yes.
Upstairs, the Privo City Mall. Christian literature. That's where they're located right now, so you can get your book. right there, or online, as you mentioned, from Amazon
Yes.
and so on. Well, Dr. June, I want to wish you every success with this book. I think material like that, I mean, we live in a world where everybody on the internet, or people are just getting information via their phone, social media, but we have failed as a people, especially Caribbean people. When you go to the airport and you're going overseas, you see black people all about and all kind of thing, but you see a white person sitting down with a newspaper reading, being informed. And we're happy that you take the time off to produce such a book, and people are making inquiries about it, meaning that it has something of substance, something worthy to be said. It's a small book, and it can be a read in a day or two, I'm sure, for the avid reader. But for the person who do not read every time, if you read a little bit, certainly within a month, 2 weeks to a month, you can crash this book. But what is more important about this book is the information that is in it and the examples, especially from a spiritual and biblical perspective. So we wish you all the best. And of course, like she said, you can get this book available upstairs, the Privo City Mall, Christian Literature Crusade. You also can get it online and app at Amazon. Of course, like we say, we are heading to the end of On Earth. Tell us, call us and tell us, write us. Tell us what you think about this first program. We had various features today. We had Calypsonians on feature on, giving their views about something. We had Alex Tyler Rock, and of course, Wenanja Christian as part of our exercise here on Earthing Talent here in the arts and entertainment. And our feature, as far as literature is concerned, we have right in the studio, Dr. June Polidor Dominican, who spent many years. How many years did you spend in the States, Dr. June? It's a while. Oh my God.
47 years.
Yes, that is that is more time than the Israelites spend in Egypt.
Yes.
It's more than a generation, as they say. But we're glad to have you back. And of course, it was really nice to have Dr. June Polidor here with us. You have been listening to On Earth. It's the first program of many more to come, I trust. Sponsors come on board, people come on board. If you think it's worth its while, as we unearth the talent in Dominica. See you next week when we'll be talking to Gabby, previous Calypsonians in the diaspora, and I trust you had a wonderful one. And we go out with the Hammer song. That is our theme song. That is a song from David Rudder, and it is based on the fact that the hammer was the only instrument that was created by us as Caribbean people, and something we relish and something we need to bring back. And that might be a topic for next day. But tonight, I want to say good night, and we enjoyed being, in fact, I enjoyed being with you. And we just want to say, join us again next week, Tuesday, same time, same place, for another episode of On Earth, where we look at the arts, culture, and literature in Dominica, the Caribbean, the diaspora. Good night, guys.